One of the most unique USPs about DeepSpatial is we are actually driven by a mission. And one of our biggest USPs is the inherent accuracy of our geospatial AI models. We take pride in saying that our models have accuracy of over 95%, with some approaching over 99%. We have made an impact that spans 20,000 schools, over 1.5 million students, and over 50,000 teachers. In agriculture, we have developed the platform which is all about food security. It's about how the farmers can use our platform for sustainable agricultural practices. Similarly, on agriculture, we have run some pilots in certain jurisdictions where there was a significant increase in the crop yield, and this could be done within one growing season.
Hello and welcome to WGIC, the World Geospatial Industry Council. Our guest today is Rahul Kushwah, founder and CEO of DeepSpatial. Rahul, welcome to WGIC podcast.
Thank you, Banu. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, and congratulations on winning the WGIC DEI Trailblazer Corporate Impact Award for 2024.
It's an absolute honor for us to actually win that award and be recognized for the fantastic work that we have been doing, especially in education.
All right. So it's commendable actually to see that DeepSpatial has built a GeoAI-powered platform to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in the education system in India. This is the project WGIC has given this award to you, right?
Yep, absolutely. So,
can you tell us more about this platform and the project?
Yeah. So, for instance, typically when you look at tech companies, they tend to be driven by a product. One of the most unique USPs about DeepSpatial is we are actually driven by a mission. I mean, yes, we're using the latest GeoAI models that we are building in-house, a lot of the latest tools and technologies to develop our platform. But at the end of the day, our guiding mission is what can we do using the technology to make sure we can give access to education, healthcare, food security across the globe, especially to marginalized communities. It's about bringing that equality when it comes to education, healthcare, and food security. So our flagship product is the Excalibur platform, which is education and skill platform. And this is a platform that we have developed, which is about identifying gaps in education and coming up with insights and outcomes that can be used to address the specific objective. The objective can be the objective of an administrator in terms of how to allocate resources. The objective can be the objective of a student, such as I want to use AI for career guidance counseling. And the objective can be that of a teacher. How do I improve my skill set if, let's say, I'm going to a specific jurisdiction to teach a certain course in a certain part of the country to a certain grade and so on and so forth. And that's how it has all come together as the Excalibur platform. And one of our biggest USPs is the inherent accuracy of our geospatial AI models. I mean, typically, when you look at the AI landscape in terms of on the commercial front, technologies and products are being sold where the models have accuracy of somewhere between 60 to 70%. We take pride in saying that our models have accuracy of over 95%, with some approaching over 99%. And it's because of this reason we have been able to make an impact at the ground level across several multiple jurisdictions in India, particularly on the education forefront.
So can you detail about this particular project, please?
So again, let me just take a step back. So when you look at India, it's a huge country, different demographics, just the geographical areas from one place to the other, I mean, tends to produce its own set of inherent advantages and perhaps disadvantages. So the birth of this platform was sort of done in close collaboration with the government officials. First and foremost, you're working with government officials across different levels in the government. As I said, it could be the administrator who was thinking about how do we allocate resources to be spent on the education front, teachers, bureaucrats, and first and foremost, it is about understanding the underlying policy. That what are the policies within the state that are guiding their allocation of funds or the direction they are taking, what is the objective they're trying to achieve. And once we gained a good understanding of that, it was about going back to the drawing table, having our tech team work together, not just on the technology front, but it's about how do we reach that specific objective. And that did take in a lot of inputs from global experts in different parts of the world, because what we were thinking is, how can we take sort of all their brains and turn it into these individual AI models that can be used for decision making? So, I mean, it was a process which is actually still ongoing, because as we speak, they are adding more additions to our Excalibur platform. So again, with these regular consultations with government officials, we were able to identify the gaps and come up with a solution, which is the Excalibur platform, which is designed to address those gaps and give outcomes as per the policies of the given jurisdiction.
Great. So I really like the purpose with which you have put this platform to use. Can we also understand how this platform brought out meaningful changes, both in terms of qualitative impact and also the quantitative aspects, if you have any numbers within the community? Because this project, I have seen that it has been implemented in a very inaccessible and hilly states of India, right? So can you detail about the impact of this project?
Absolutely. So, I mean, a lot of people would refer to us being as totally crazy for going into jurisdictions which are relatively isolated and where you don't have access to tons and tons of data, which is normally needed for any sort of AI modeling. So it
True.
was a challenge that we took head on. Initially, we didn't know if we would succeed or we would fail, but we were like, if we can succeed in this space, that means we can come up with actionable insights. We can actually make an impact. Because if you improve access to education for just one student, what you're doing is you're making an impact that's transcending across generations. So now we take pride in saying that when it comes to our platform, we have made an impact that spans 20,000 schools, over 1.5 million students, and over 50,000 teachers. So in some of these jurisdictions, one of the biggest struggle they had was a low pass percentage of students. And they spent a lot of money all throughout the years with no improvement, and they could not figure out why that was the case. And that's where we come in with our platform. Our platform was able to provide them with insights that once they were implemented, within a year, they were able to see a significant improvement in spend pass percentage of students. At the same time, they were able to see significant improvement in student attendance. And that really showed up at the level of standardized grades, where they're like, oh, wow, all of a sudden now we have a significant improvement. So, which, without us saying the platform works, they could see firsthand that it was making a true impact. Similarly, when it comes to teachers, a lot of these places were struggling with teacher absenteeism as well. And at the same time, there were perhaps certain limitations on the skill front. So our platform could be used by teachers based on the jurisdiction they were in to upskill themselves while taking into account what the local nuances are in terms of teaching students. And that showed up as an impact with now all of a sudden, a lot more teachers were coming into schools in a lot of these remote places. And with the improvement that were on the delivery front, that transcended in terms of seeing improvement and student performance. So again, seeing that firsthand improvement, whether it's at the level of students or teachers, uh, I mean, really made us really proud, to be honest with you, that look, we actually have been able to do something where there is a measurable impact. We are able to change lives, and that's what we take pride in.
That's absolutely understandable. In fact, I'm very proud of the technology and the difference that we are able to make to the community. So, Rahul, you talked about how closely you worked with governments in this project, but as a project of this scale, of this nature, is successful only with the support of all the stakeholders, including the local groups and all that, right? So, would you want to tell us about how you got all the stakeholders to respond appropriately and engage with them over this initiative, or did you have to tailor the program to their needs?
So again, with any sort of new technology that you're bringing in, there is always resistance.
Yeah.
But you can give the community the sense of ownership, all of a sudden that all changes. So typically, this is what tends to happen. I mean, a tech company comes in, they're having discussions with the top level administrators, and that's about it. But we took a totally different approach. We actually had discussions with parents, with students, with teachers, with people that were even at the ground level to totally understand what is the true limitation or the true gaps. Because, see, there is one thing to be sitting in an office going through piles of data and seeing this is what the gap is. But it's only when you go to the ground level you're truly able to understand what those gaps are. So from day one, we were engaged with everyone from all the way at the bottom to all the way at the top. And so every single person felt a sense of ownership. And at the same time, as we were going through deployment of our technology, we made sure it didn't turn into something where you needed all of a sudden a bachelor's in technology to work with. So basically, you can have no idea of technology as long as you know how to use a computer. The platform is so intuitive, you can work with our technology. And similarly, one of the things that we are even doing now is we have regular workshops, which is for teachers, students, parents, administrators, so everyone truly understands what our platform is doing and how it's bringing about that change and impact, which is benefiting every single aspect of society. And this truly gives them a sense of ownership. And this is where they're willing to go beyond their way to assist us to make sure we can scale this platform even further.
Fantastic. Rahul, I see that this project has been implemented in two hilly states of India, right? And are there any plans to take this to other states? I know education is under state subject, and how are you able to take this to more states within India which are more remote and inaccessible?
So, by starting off in perhaps some of the most remote places in India, what we have developed now is such a robust platform that
Yeah.
if you take it to a jurisdiction where the data is flowing, we practically do not have to do anything. The platform can be
Wow.
deployed, it can be ready, set, go in one day. So, what we have developed is a scalable platform that can not only be scaled all throughout India, but across multiple jurisdictions across the globe. So, one of the things I always say is, I mean, you look at the Western economies, I mean, access to education is still a limitation in every corner of the world. It's
True.
the variability. I mean, are you talking about this much or that much? But that limitation is universal in nature, and that's why what we are addressing is universal. So as we speak, we actually have a whole bunch of states all throughout India that are in discussions with us. At the same time, we have gone into several international markets as well, where once the governments of those international countries have seen the impact of our platform, they want to move forward with deployment of our platform. But of course, I mean, we don't want to go crazy all of a sudden because we are a relatively small company at this stage. So we don't want to take on more than we can chew. But what we are finding is that the impact our technology has been able to bring about, that is speaking for itself. And once that is showcased in other countries, it's really a snowball effect. I mean, everyone is realizing this is the only platform of its kind, and it has shown measurable impact. So it's a no-brainer that, you know what, let's go ahead, bring it on, and let's bring about that change.
Fantastic. Rahul, I really like technology which is meant for a particular purpose, especially the social causes. I can go on talking about this project for about an hour, another hour, but I want to also ask you a few more important questions. What are some of the DEI practices you have introduced at Deep Spatial?
So, I mean, of course, first and foremost is about the actual technology. We are a mission-driven company, so the DEI, it is universal whether we talk about our platforms in education, agriculture, or healthcare. But on top of it, what we have ensured is we have put forth and implemented certain DEI policies within the Deep Spatials framework. And this really starts at the level of when we have a job posting going out, how the people are being interviewed, and at the same time, when people are onboarded, there is actually a training session for them to ensure that the DEI aspect is fully taken into place and every single person that's working for us is trained on it. At the same time, we have brought in certain other practices to ensure that women and minorities in particular, that there are training programs that can help them to sort of improve their skill sets so they can move up within our organization. And along with that, we have also ensured that every single person that's working with us, they feel that they are part of the team and their voice counts. So one of the things we have done is we just started actually last year. We do an yearly event where we bring every single employee and consultant that works for DeepSpatial from every corner of the world into one room for a few days, and everyone is actually talking about what they do, what they like, what is their goal. And I actually personally take the time as a CEO to listen to every single person because that really gives me an idea what is the growth trajectory they are looking at and what can we do as an organization to make sure they excel in that direction.
Okay, great. But are there other sectors Deep Spatial is bringing its AI-powered solutions to? Can you tell us
Yes,
more about it?
yes, absolutely. So the other two prominent ones are agriculture and healthcare. In agriculture, we have developed a platform which is all about food security. It's about how the farmers can use our platform for sustainable agriculture practices while ensuring there is an improvement in yield. So the way how the platform functions is it's taking into account a lot of geospatial data, which includes thousands of parameters, but on top of it, we have these IoT devices that are placed across the land that the farmer is going to be using or using for agriculture purposes. So that is giving real-time data feeds. And as all that goes into our geospatial AI engine, it's churning out specific insights, which is telling the farmer that these are the practices you need to bring into play. This is what you should be doing today to ensure you can improve the yield of the specific crop that you're growing on this piece of land. Similarly, we have also developed a platform for healthcare, and it's more around health policy and implementation. So one of the examples I'll give you is, in several parts of the world, infant mortality and mortality during childbirth still remains a big problem. And our platform has been designed where if it's implemented in a certain jurisdiction, it can identify what is that root cause in this jurisdiction. And again, just drawing parallels to education, how the resources should be spent or what should be done to reduce that burden that the society is facing. I mean, infant mortality is just one of the aspects, but that goes on to things like epidemiology, diseases, and the overall healthcare of the masses.
Any case studies or use cases would you like to share with us that you have already implemented?
So again, on the healthcare front, as I was talking about the infant mortality and the mortality of the mother during childbirth, we actually have been able to implement our platform and see some significant changes. And we actually just published a paper a few months ago talking about the significant change that our platform could bring as far as improving those aspects go. Similarly, on agriculture, we have run some pilots in certain jurisdictions where there was a significant increase in the crop yield, and this could be done within one growing season.
Okay, great. Agriculture and healthcare, again, both very crucial sectors for you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, tell me more about Deep Spatial's target market intelligence and how can an enterprise leverage this solution to drive business decisions?
So, in addition to agriculture, education, and healthcare, we've also developed solutions which is targeting the corporate business houses. So, again, it has many layers to it. Things like where would you want to be opening up your new outlet to ensure you can maximize profits? How do you optimize supply chain? How do you optimize your marketing? And the simplest example I'll give you, so let's say I own one of the largest burger chains in the world, and you are one of my competitors. If you were to use my platform, let's say both of us are using the platform to find out where we should be opening next in Toronto, we would get different answers. Part of the reason is the platform is not just aggregating geospatial data and hundreds of other data layers, but it's also bringing in real-time data feeds from my burger organization and also from yours. And based on the business nuances of your company versus mine, it is able to offer specific insights. In other words, the location it will tell you is going to be different than the location what it's going to be telling me. So that is the level of personalization we are talking about. So
My last question to you, Rahul, what got Deep Spatial join forces with WGIC and how has been the experience so far? And what do you see the industry body focusing its energies on moving forward?
So again, it's actually been a blessing to be partnering with WGIC. I mean, WGIC is the premier industry council when it comes to geospatial technologies. And at the same time, it's sort of driven by a similar mission as DeepSpatial is driven by, which is about uh, bringing access to masses, whether it's education, healthcare, agriculture. And one of the biggest benefits we have seen from day one is the level of engagement we have been able to get across the different partner landscape that WGIC has. On top of it, I mean, WGIC has really been instrumental in terms of assisting us to launch certain initiatives. There is a whole new initiative we are launching as we speak. It's going to be out in a matter of days. It
Mhm.
pertains to training and education within the geospatial AI field. And
Interesting.
again, it's not just for schools. It's really training so that the person can go out and get a job. So more of workplace training. And there's a whole new initiative we are launching, and WGIC has been extremely cooperative. And there is going to be a lot of work we're going to be doing directly with WGIC on that front. And the details are going to be out pretty shortly.
Great. I wish you all the success with the new initiative.
Thank you, bud.
And thank you so much for this conversation, Rahul.